webinar today is all about one of the Lynton devices. It's actually a device called the EXCELIGHT. So I'm just going to start sharing my screen, and then we'll go through today's presentation. So there we go. Hopefully you can all see the presentation now, and you should still be able to see me speaking. If not, then just play around with some of the buttons that you can see on your screen. Zoom sometimes hides the actual toolbar, but if you just click around on your screen, whether you're on an iPad or a phone, you may well be able to just find it. And you've got different options. You've got gallery views, you've got speaker views, you can do shared screen as well, or side-facing screens. So there's quite a bit of flexibility in it, but sometimes you do have to just have a little bit of a dig around and a little bit of a look around. So before I start, let me just check, because as I said, I am on my own today, so I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me and everybody can see me and everything's okay with the logistics. Everything seem okay for everyone? Someone just drop me a little yes into, perfect, thank you, Ewa, good stuff. All right, okay. So today we're going to be covering the EXCELIGHT. So welcome to our webinar. The EXCELIGHT is a device that we have been selling at Lynton for a number of years now, and it contains our IPL technology. So today's webinar is going to introduce you to this device, but also give you an introduction to our IPL technology, and really, I guess, who we are as a company as well. If you've not worked with us before, if you're thinking of purchasing a device from Lynton, then this will give you, a bit of an overview really as to who we are and what this device could bring to your business. So we are a British manufacturer of laser systems, laser and IPL, and we've been established for 25 years. We're actually a spin-off company from a university. In fact, our IPL is one of the only IPLs in the world that actually was designed and developed as part of an academic project. It was actually designed as part of a PhD by a chap called Dr. John Exley, who's now our managing director. And so that technology really came from a university. It came from a challenge of getting something that academically was spot on for the treatments it was meant to be treating. And obviously it's had different iterations and it's gone through changes over time, but the core principles of our technology today are quite similar from what came from that academic project. And we are still manufacturing devices like the EXCELIGHT in the UK, and we manufacture at a site called Holmes Chapel, and that's in Cheshire. And you're welcome to come and have a look around our manufacturing facilities, because we also have there our training academy. So we teach lots of advanced laser training courses from that training academy, things like level 4 and level 5 qualifications, core of knowledge. We do masterclasses, although of course at the moment, as we're on lockdown, then we've been running quite a few of those virtually. So we are a medical device manufacturer. That makes us slightly different to perhaps other manufacturers, because being a medical device manufacturer, we have to conform to lots of additional processes and procedures in our business. We have a quality system in place, and we get audited every few years in line with that. So everything in our business has to be documented, and as I said, we get externally audited. So the quality of the devices that we build is extremely high, and most of our business is within the aesthetics industry. But we do also have some other divisions within the business. We build lasers for cleaning, so cleaning of different museum artifacts, as you can see here. This is very, very similar technology to tattoo removal. So we actually use a laser to put a shockwave through the the debris and the dirt that's actually on statues or buildings, like for example Lincoln Cathedral and Buckingham Palace we've cleaned recently, St Paul's Cathedral. They get that build-up of dirt and soot on there, and we're able to actually just ablate that with the laser, very similar to the way that you ablate a tattoo, but leave the underlying surface completely, you know, untouched and in great condition. And we're also at the moment working on a brand new project which is using lasers to help with the decommissioning of nuclear power stations. So we've got a wealth of manufacturing experience. We are an approved supplier to the NHS, and some of our lasers are used in quite advanced surgical procedures. This one you can see here is actually one that they use to help remove tumours from within the lungs. So we're quite a large company. We're the UK's biggest laser and IPL manufacturer, but the majority of what we do is sort of focused around the aesthetics industry. And one of our best sellers is in fact this device here, which is the EXCELIGHT, and that's the one that we're going to be talking about today. So why is this one popular? A couple of reasons. Very small, compact, nice device to fit into any size of room. But really the key thing with the EXCELIGHT is it's very flexible and gives exceptional results. So you can treat a wide variety of different conditions that you would see coming into your aesthetic clinic. So unwanted hair, vascular lesions, and that can include anything from red veins to rosacea to Campbell de Morgan spots, pigmented lesions. Now this is just epidermal pigmented lesions, but all of your common, you know, sun damage, age spots, whatever you want to call them, that epidermal pigment, freckles, you know, you can remove that with the EXCELIGHT. You can also have a really great improvement on acne, and we've got a lovely photo to show you of that coming up soon. And then skin rejuvenation. So this is now the general rejuvenating of the skin with this device. And we would highly recommend, if you're using an EXCELIGHT, to combine it with some of our skin products, our topical products, to deliver what we call the Illumi facial. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but the Illumi facial is a rejuvenation treatment that uses an acid peel alongside the EXCELIGHT. So we're going to cover the science a little bit today, but not too much, because we actually have already a webinar which goes into a much greater amount of detail when it comes to Lynton IPL technology. But I just want to take the time today to just cover some of the basics, really. For those of you that haven't heard of Lynton IPL before, don't know why Lynton IPL would be different to other devices on the market, then let's go through that today. So Lynton IPL is completely different to most other IPLs in the marketplace, if not all IPLs in the marketplace. And we have created our IPL, as I mentioned earlier, through this 25 years of manufacturing expertise, regularly tweaking and changing and evolving it to what it is in its current shape and format today. So Lynton IPL is delivered through a process called DymanicReflex. And DymanicReflex is basically a way that we can manipulate our IPL to make it exceptional at treating a really wide range of different skin conditions and skin concerns, because it's not too tricky to treat your white skins and your dark hairs, but it's very tricky to treat a darker skin with a very thin hair. It's very tricky to treat a skin type 1, 2, 3, where the hair is very thin and very fine and pale in colour. Rosacea is really tough to treat because the vessel diameter is incredibly thin. Okay, so if you've got a nice sort of thicker vessel, that can sometimes be a little bit easier to treat, as long as it's a red telangiectasia, it's quite near the surface. That can be a little bit easier, whereas when the vessel gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and you almost can't see the vessel at all, it's just flushing and blushing, that is really difficult to treat. However, NHS hospitals will buy Lynton IPLs to treat things like rosacea or port wine stains, these really difficult conditions. And that's why we refer to our IPL as being medical grade, because it does treat over and above just the cosmetic concerns that you'll get perhaps coming into your aesthetic clinic. But how fantastic to have that device that you know has actually got the ability to go much further than just the average, bit of red veins or rosacea that you see on the skin. Because most other IPLs do struggle with these very difficult things to treat. And then, of course, we've got light-coloured sun damage, dark-coloured sun damage, got different, grades of concerns with aging or loss of collagen. So the DymanicReflex essentially gives us the ability to tailor our light, our IPL, to treat all of these things incredibly successfully. And there's two key features of the DymanicReflex, and I'll summarize them for you now, but we do have on YouTube a whole webinar about our Lynton IPL and what makes it different. So if you're really interested in the science and the physics and you want to go into things in a lot more detail, then you can do so by watching our DymanicReflex technology and our what makes Lynton IPL unique webinar that's up on YouTube. So just as a brief overview for today, IPLs can deliver their light in long pulses or short pulses, and you need both. So some of the other systems on the market are a bit limited because they don't have long enough or they don't have short enough pulses. More frequently, it's that the pulses aren't short enough. Now, that is what is needed for those really difficult skin conditions like the rosacea and the thin, fine hairs. So we can actually deliver our pulses that are so short, they're actually less than a millisecond in length. So they're extremely short, sharp, shock heating, which is what those difficult conditions need. So if you look at this, this is sort of a diagram which explains how IPL light is sort of delivered into the skin. So if you look at the top diagram here, you can see this little sort of bar chart that comes up, this little peaks, so to speak, and they represent the pulses. And how long the pulse is on for, that's your on time. And then as the pulse drops off, you then have a pulse delay, and then you have another pulse of light and another delay. And that's what these bumps are essentially in the diagram here. So as you are pulsing the light onto the skin, you're heating things up. As you put in a bit of a delay, things cool down. So IPLs often, you just press the button once, but they actually go pulse, 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 and they have these delays in between. And what that's doing is it's actually letting the bigger, bulkier things like the hair and the vessels keep getting nice and hot, and it's letting the skin that's quite close to the surface just cool down. Now, what's unique about the DymanicReflex is that we can not only get super high energy out of our IPL system, but we can also do it in those really short pulses, and we can do it over a long number of pulses. So up to 5 pulses in your EXCELIGHT, and that means that you can let an awful lot of skin cooling occur. And the benefit of that skin cooling is that you can then get things that you want to heat up really hot, but let the rest of the skin stay nice and cool. So essentially, it's a safety feature. So you've got 2 factors. You've got your short pulse, really aggressive for those tricky things to treat in the skin. But then you can change your settings. You can put in 5 pulses into a sequence. You can put lots of delays in, and the more pulses that you put in, the more delays that you put in, you're getting safer and safer and safer. But each on time is nice and short still. So you're still heating the target, the hair or the vessel, to a really good temperature to destroy it. So by the time you get to the end of your pulse sequence, you've got the target. You can see this blue line here has been getting hotter and hotter, and that's gone over the damage threshold, which is what we want. We want to damage the vessel, we want to damage the hair. Whereas the skin has been given lots of time to cool down. The skin just naturally cools down a lot quicker than the target anyway. But the more pulses that you put in, the bigger the difference is between the target temperature and the skin temperature. So you have a much, much safer result on a skin, essentially. So what does that mean for your business? Well, it means that you will, perhaps with a lot of other IPLs, get to a certain point where you can't get any better of a result. You know, it's sort of leaving behind hairs that have become too thin and too fine. And if that customer were to go and have treatment with a Lynton IPL, it's highly likely that they would get better clearance. So they'd actually be able to have another couple of sessions. And whereas other systems can't treat the hairs when they've got thin and fine, you could with your EXCELIGHT. There'll be various vascular lesions that other IPLs won't be successful on. Not all of them, but the majority they won't be successful on, whereas the Lynton will get a result on those. As I said, it is technology that is used within the NHS by dermatologists. So you've really got a tool at your disposal that you can feel extremely confident in. You know that you're going to get a result. You know, okay, you have to put in the disclaimer that it's possible it won't respond, but that is really, really rare. You know, as long as you're treating the right things, you know, the list of indications that we give you, and this is a full range of vascular lesions, you know, then you will get a nice level of clearance. Same with pigment, you'll get great improvement in collagen, and you really open the doors to being able to treat a much wider set of customers for your hair removal. So your Indian, Asian skin types 5, all the way up to your skin type 1, which is your very, very, very fair pale skin that often has got very thin and fine hairs as well. You know, you've got an excellent device to treat right across the variety of those skins that might come in, all at really nice high fluence as well. So there's some nice extra features really with the EXCELIGHT. The touch screen is really nice to use. The hand pieces are nice and easy to use. We have clip-in light guides. So for those of you that want to get a little bit more hands-on with it today, sort of whilst we're in lockdown, obviously we can't necessarily do demonstrations, then we do have a video of the EXCELIGHT on our website. So if you just go to the Lynton website, which you can see on the screen here is just lynton.co.uk, go to the EXCELIGHT product page. There's a little video on there so you can watch it and you can see it just in action. And here's an example of one of the touch screens. So you might be thinking to yourself, oh, okay, I really like the idea that you can do short pulses, long pulses, 2 pulses, 6 pulses, you know, but what am I going to do when I've got, you know, a business where we've got 10 different operators and the customer is switching from one to the other, and no, maybe you're a bit nervous at first because you've not used a device like this before. The touchscreen control makes it really, really easy to use. So you can see this is the screen that controls your hair removal. You've got from, you know, black to dark brown. So you just click on what hair color you've got. You've then also got your skin type, so you can select your skin type, and that will automatically give you the fluence, the pulses, and the delays. Alongside this, we also give you an extremely detailed manual that will allow you to then tweak things if you want to. So maybe you've got a very coarse hair or you've got a very thin hair. You could have a look at that within your manual and you could just readjust your settings accordingly. And also, you know, once you're, you know, a couple of months into using a device like this, you'll actually want to push the boundaries. You won't want to go with the preset recommendations on the device. You'll want to start, you know, increasing your settings, because these are obviously very safe settings. You'll want to just push those boundaries a little bit more, and you've got full control of putting more delays in, putting more pulses in, and increasing your fluence in here as well. And then the other advantage of the EXCELIGHT is that we have interchangeable light guides. So our light guides actually clip in and out of the end of the handpiece. So rather than having always one large applicator, as you can see on the presentation here, that's a 650 handpiece for hair removal. There's quite a large applicator in there at the moment. If you wanted to just treat some individual vessels around the nose, obviously that applicator would be quite difficult because it would cover quite a large area. And let's say you wanted to use a nice high fluence, 28 joules, 30 joules, you know, you wouldn't necessarily want to do that over the whole size of this large block. So instead what you can do is you can just take that larger block out and clip in a small block like this one here, and then you can just individually spot treat little areas. And that's a really nice feature because the light guides are nice and long. You can see exactly where you're going on the skin. You know, you're not having to put it flush to the skin like this, where, you know, the handpiece itself sort of obstructs your view of the skin. Because you've got this nice long light guide, you can really see very clearly where you're going, which is a big help. So just to reassure you that our technology is tried and tested. So Lynton IPLs, as I said, they have been used regularly in the NHS, but when we were first developing it, we actually ran lots of clinical trials and published many clinical papers, some peer-reviewed clinical papers on our technology. So for those of you that really want to, you know, dig into the science, then I can email you over these clinical papers so you can have a bit more of a read through them. But you can see here we're treating, you know, with our IPL systems, not just the run-of-the-mill telangiectasia, red veins. You know, we're actually treating things like a port wine stain. You can see in the middle of the screen here, just on the arm area where there's this, you know, loss of the vascularity just in the arm there. That's had a treatment with the Lynton Lumina, which is another Lynton IPL system. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to have a look at some clinical results, but why don't I just dip in and see if there's any questions I need to ask just right now, and then we'll go from there. Oh, Helen would like some clinical papers, no problem, all good. Right. Someone's asked me to cover SHR, so I will do that towards the end, no problem with that one. Okay, so we'll just whiz through a couple of the results here, and I know that there are actually some people in the audience who have used Lynton IPL. So if you wouldn't mind just dropping into the chat box, you know, what do you think of the technology? Are you getting good results? What sorts of indications do you get the best results on? You know, and then we can maybe just chat through some of those as well. If there's anything you particularly like about the EXCELIGHT, that would be great to hear, just to let the rest of the audience know, really. So this is obviously a very hairy back, as you can see, and we've had a really nice result on this. It's tricky really because this looks like an amazing result, but the reality is his skin type and hair colour means that it's not too tricky to treat. You know, the hair's got a fair amount of coarseness to it. So it's kind of a bit easier. It's a bit like cheating. The ones that are really, really tricky are the ones to photograph because the hair's so thin and so fine and quite tricky to treat. So that sort of real sort of pale mousy brown hair that's become very thin, that's the one really that you get the excellent results on with an EXCELIGHT. And acne as well. So you can't, you know, really cure the acne. Of course, it's an underlying condition that, you know, you don't necessarily have full control over, but certainly, you know, using things like your IPL can help to reduce the redness by promoting skin healing, by promoting collagenesis. They actually stimulate the fibroblast cells to produce that additional collagen. So it will help with the appearance of any sort of mild scarring on the tissue. It will also help to kill the bacteria within the acne. So when you're using these wavelengths, you can actually destroy some of that bacteria and promote that skin healing. So you can have a really nice effect on acne in the skin, especially when you combine it with other things. So if you've got peels in your business, if you can combine this with LED light therapy, then you can really get some excellent results on acne, especially if they're taking good product home to use at home as well. This is an example of a client who has had some pigment, sun damage removal just on the back of the hands. So again, you can see there a lovely result. It does remove pigment extremely, extremely well. Okay, let's go through some of these comments then. So Laura has put, we have one, it's easy to use. It is really, really easy to use. I've had some fantastic results with hair removal and red veins on the face. Good to hear. Great hair removal experience personally. Oh, good. We've got the Lynton Lumina, great machine. Yeah, good for veins and pigments. Yeah, do we do trade-ins? Yes, we do. So if anyone wants to speak to me about trade-in, then we can talk about that. How close can you get to the eyelids and lips and sensitive areas? That's a good question, really. So there is an eye hazard with any IPL or laser, and so it's not recommended to come within the ocular bone here. So you would stay sort of on the top of the eyebrow, just work around the sides of the temple here, and you'd stay on the bone just underneath this area here. You could, if you wanted to, purchase contact eye shield. So it's like a contact lens, which is completely occlusive, so it doesn't let any light through whatsoever. Bit fiddly to put in, but you know, if someone had a real concern over the eyelid, then potentially you could use that to treat around that area. But general day-to-day practice, you just work around the bone. I had a client who came to me for her final session, and I asked her to take her makeup off and she wasn't wearing any. Oh, and I felt a great sense of achievement and actually cried for her. That's amazing. Oh, that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? It's about getting those life-changing results. And you know, when people do present with unwanted hair, with a lot of you know, discoloration on the skin, then you know, you really can make a massive difference to how people look and how they feel about themselves. So these sorts of sunspots, very easy to remove. They won't necessarily go in one session, so we recommend 1 to 3 sessions for pigmentation. If it's just the odd sort of little red vein, that might be 1 to 3 sessions, but it could be 4, 5, 6 if it's very advanced vascularity. If it's something like rosacea, that's quite an interesting one, because with rosacea, again, it's a bit like acne. You're not actually treating necessarily the underlying condition. You're just controlling the symptoms. So it might be that you have someone with rosacea and they come to you and they have 3 sessions and it gets it really under control and they're delighted, and 6 months later they have a flare up, and you just do maintenance sessions and treat them. So we have people that come to our clinic in Cheshire, and they will just have those top-ups as and when they need them, but it is better than anything else out there on the market for them. It really helps to control that vascularity. So it might be something that you're doing a bit more ongoing if you're treating polycystic ovaries, acne, or rosacea. Oh, and yeah, your picture of the hands there, that's our Luminette Advance, isn't it, Helen, rather than the EXCELIGHT? So the Luminette Advance was like the version before we launched the EXCELIGHT. And so here you can see some nice veins with that have been treated, and a nice result there. Probably another one to just get rid of those last few lingering ones perhaps needed, but oh, that's the same guy. Nice. Okay, good. So yeah, it gives you an idea of the sorts of results, and we've got lots of other pictures. If you follow #WeUseLynton on Instagram, you can just see the hundreds of clinics across the UK that are regularly posting their results from their Lynton systems. So it'll give you a really good idea of what's genuinely, you know, not the manufacturer's best ever picture. You know, these are genuine pictures from clinics in the UK getting these results, getting fantastic results and posting them and sharing them. So check out our Instagram and look up the #WeUseLynton just to get a bit of a feel for that. So obviously with this device, you've got a lot of different treatments that you can offer, and you can do the Illumifacial. So just take a moment to talk about this. We do have, again, a separate webinar on the Illumifacial, so please feel free to tune in and watch this one. But for an investment of about £450, something like that, you get a set of skincare products that go alongside your IPL treatment. And we have a full protocol written as to how exactly to do this treatment. But essentially, it is a double cleanse and then an acid peel before you IPL. So it's quite an advanced treatment, but we call it the Illumifacial because it just delivers really luminous skin. So really brightening, hydrating. It gives you that sort of really flawless, even colour. You know, you don't see any red vessels, you don't see any sunspots. It really just softens out the skin because it's improving that collagen production as well. So helps to remove fine lines. So really good array of skin conditions that, you know, most people are experiencing a little bit of discoloration here and there, a little bit of dehydration lines. So most people would benefit from an Illumifacial treatment. And the secret is in that peel. The peel is formulated specifically for Lynton, so it's very, very safe to use it alongside the IPL. So you can't necessarily just go and get any peel. It has to be this set of products if you want to market the Illumifacial, because we know that they are all safe and specially formulated to use around our IPL. But of course, then, you know, when you're using these products in the treatment room, you're using the cleanser, the beautiful stem cell serum that we have, the sunscreen that we have, we sell them all in the retail sizes as well. So after the treatment, you can retail them to your customers, and it's just a nice extra way of generating some revenue. So we estimate that if you are able to book in 3 patients per week, then that could be revenue of about £1,600. Obviously, the prices vary. I mean, they do vary massively from from up north to down in London. The price of a single lesion could be £50 to £200, to be honest. It really, really varies. But these are the sorts of prices that we're charging in our clinic. And you can see that they are, you know, sort of full face, you know, rosacea rejuve treatment, maybe £100. That's a good price. It might be, if you're doing lip and chin, maybe £70, underarm £85. So it gives you a bit of an idea as to prices that we might charge. And to be honest with you, it depends on the person and the severity of the concern. So we don't really have a set price list. We'll bring people in, do a consultation, work out how much time we think the treatment will take, and give them a price. But this is, you know, a good way of sort of looking at it. If you're thinking about making the investment and you're thinking about, okay, well, how much revenue could I turn that into? Maybe just plotting out how many customers you think you'd be able to generate. And if you could generate 3 per week, then that's brilliant. And a lot of this income comes from the rejuvenation. It used to be the case that it was all hair removal, hair removal, hair removal, and now device-led rejuvenation is absolutely booming. So it's definitely, you know, a good idea to really promote these services in your business. And what you can see here is actually to cover the cost of the system, you would only really need about 4, so 1 a week. Range of prices as you can see here, but that would break you even on your monthly payments going out on the actual device. And if you could get to the point where you're booking in 1 person every day, then you're up to, you know, 42,000 and then some. So it really varies from clinic to clinic, how much you push it, how much you drive it. But certainly we've found since launching the Illumifacial, it really, really helps to upsell your IPL. Because if you've just got an IPL where you put it sort of on the menu as hair removal, red veins, pigmentation, etc., then you're just getting people coming in with that concern and treating that concern. Whereas with Illumi, we've got some lovely marketing, you know, inside your business. We've got pop-ups, we've got banners, we've got posters, we've got all sorts of marketing that you can use for social media as well. And what you do is, you know, somebody comes in and they just have some vessels around the nose, and you say, well, you know, maybe you could upgrade to a full Illumifacial. It's only this much extra. We treat your whole skin. This is what it's for. This is what it will do for you. And so a really nice extra feature, really, just to make sure that you're maximizing the return on your investment for your IPL system. Okay, let me take a break there, and I'm just going to come and answer some of the questions that we've got in the chat. So Laura asked me, is that with the EXCELIGHT, the Illumifacial? I think it was actually with the, if you're talking about the vascular result, then Helen achieved that with the Luminet Advance, I think. Can you say which ingredients the peel has? It's glycolic, malic and tartaric, I think. So it's 3 fruit acids. It has got a little bit of salicylic in it as well, but quite a small amount. Let's have a look at the questions. Okay, can you cover the SHR technology? And someone else asked about pain, so let's cover that one. So does it hurt? Many salons and clinics advertise 100% pain-free. So no, we don't advertise the EXCELIGHT as a pain-free system. We do have some systems that offer comfort modes or virtually pain-free modes, but the EXCELIGHT isn't one of them, because we have tried to utilize IPL technology in a pain-free format before, but found that it compromised results. And so the system that we have that actually has comfort modes are laser systems. And so this, we would say to people, okay, how does it feel on a scale of 1 to 10? And we're saying, you know, if 1 is I can't feel anything at all, and 10 is I can, yeah, that's uncomfortable, that's quite a lot of discomfort, we would like them to be a 6. So they're not a 7, 8, oh, this is sore, it's about a 6, you know. And if you're finding that they're a 7 or an 8, then you need to reduce your parameters and bring them back down into the bracket of 6. There are ways that you can manage discomfort. So if someone is, you know, very nervous, usually first treatment or so, you know, people can be a little bit nervous. You can start a little bit slower and kind of build them up to the settings that will give them a 6 out of 10. But, you know, you're kind of compromising your results a bit there. You want to be able to go straight in and use the settings that you know are going to give you a good result. But that's only a 6 out of 10. So it's a bit uncomfortable, but it's certainly not painful. You know, you shouldn't have anyone that's finding it intolerable. You can certainly use some cold packs or some gel packs or an external cryo cooler to help control the discomfort as you're treating. And can you do skin rejuvenation on other areas of the body, the chest? Yes, so you can do the skin rejuvenation in lots of different areas. The face heals a lot faster than hands, chest. So we just recommend that the settings come down a little bit. So we actually do give you in the manual sort of the settings for the face, and then we have a little bit at the bottom that says if you're treating the chest area, then, you know, these settings would be more advisable. And that just gives you that little bit of guidance and advice, really. But I mean, we've seen some excellent results on the chest area where there are broken vessels and there are sunspots and sun damage as well. We've seen great results on tops of shoulders where people have got a lot of extensive sun damage on the tops of the shoulders, being able to really clear that very well for them. So yeah, it's excellent on the hands and other areas. Okay. I mean, can you offer a lumifacial with EXCELIGHT? Yes, you can. So if you have an EXCELIGHT, then yeah, we'd highly recommend that you would invest in the lumifacial. Why not? You know, for a very small investment, you get all this brilliant marketing, and it's really easy to then upsell the treatments that you're doing with your EXCELIGHT. Yeah, it does depend. Obviously, there are some areas that are going to be a little bit nippier than others, but it should still always be a 6 out of 10, not more than that. The skin tightening treatments are okay on the whole body. So I wouldn't describe it as skin tightening. It's definitely very good for helping with fine dehydration lines, for helping with the discoloration, the vessels, the pigment, etc. I think to sell it as skin tightening would be, I mean, it's not like radio frequency. Okay, if you really want that deep skin tightening, radio frequency is the best technology. So if that's the #1 thing you want to put on your menu, I would look instead at our 3Juve that combines a 585 IPL handpiece with radio frequency, and that would be perfect. What Illumifacial and what the EXCELIGHT will do is they will rejuvenate the skin. Okay, so they're more like the skin surface rather than the laxity. They will help with all the discoloration, giving you that airbrushed, flawless, even coloured skin. It will look more hydrated. Things like scars and wrinkles will be reduced but not completely removed. So if you want something that is really all about the skin and you're not concerned about hair removal, then we have a device called the 3Juve that combines our IPL also with fractional resurfacing for deep scars and deep wrinkles, and with radio frequency for skin tightening. So that might be better. Alternatively, we do a device called the Lumina. So that combines exactly the same technology as the EXCELIGHT, the 650 and the 585 handpiece, but that allows you to add on things like the erbium resurfacing handpiece and also tattoo removal handpieces as well. So it might be that if skin rejuvenation is the thing that if skin tightening, sorry, is the thing you're looking for, maybe RF, but for your general rejuvenation, the colour, discoloration, definitely EXCELIGHT is lovely. And can the vessels be treated on the body? Yes, they can, but only if they are very, very thin, spidery, red veins. So the EXCELIGHT will not get you the same results on a leg vessel as something like an ND YAG. So an ND YAG laser is one of the best in class for deep leg vessels, because at that wavelength you get really deep penetration. Whereas at a 585 wavelength, you're quite superficial. So whereas it's perfect for those lesions that are thin and spidery and red, if they're that sort of deeper, darker, thicker, purpley colour, then you'd struggle on those with IPLs. For those, ideally, you would need something like the long pulsed ND YAG. Okay, so I just wanted to take a moment to talk about what comes with the EXCELIGHT, or in fact any device that you're looking at from Lynton. So we do pride ourselves on having great after sale support. So for those of you that have been tuning in, you'll see that we're running a whole host of webinars to help support our clinics at this time. So for example, at 3 o'clock today, we're going to be running a webinar on digital, everything digital, obviously a hot topic at the moment. So we've got a digital expert coming in to talk to our Lynton customers about what they can be doing to improve their digital skills and digital prowess at the moment. And then tomorrow we have a business guru, Richard Crawford Small, coming in and doing a talk about mindset and mentality, and how you can kind of get going and rebuild and be ready to start afresh when clinics reopen. So, and of course, it's not just webinars. We have the biggest team of engineers in the country of any laser or IPL supplier. We've got the biggest team of clinical trainers, all extremely well trained and really proficient operators, our team of trainers. And I guess everything that it's all underpinned by our value system. So we actually have a really, really good company culture at Lynton. These are our values: reliability, quality, integrity, positivity, and care. And these are the values that we use to guide our behaviour across the whole business. And right in the middle there, integrity is a big one for us at Lynton. We try to do everything in the best possible way. We really care about our customers. We deliver an extremely reliable service. We'll always go the extra mile to help you resolve your problems and your concerns. And that was really it's demonstrated every day, because we do get lovely feedback on social media almost every day. Just go and have a look at our social media and the customers talking about us. But we actually won an award in December last year, that's 2019, and this was for the Aesthetic Award for the best manufacturer in the UK. And then I got an email just after we'd won this award. I just wanted to drop you a personal message to say many congratulations to you and the Lynton team on your win. So I got this email from Chloe Gronout, who is actually the editor of the Aesthetic Journal magazine. And in this email, she went on to say, I've also attached a document with feedback from the judges and the voters. We don't usually do this, but there are literally hundreds of lovely comments in there that you can definitely make the most of in your marketing. So you go through one stage of winning this award. You submit an application form to the judges, and these are industry experts, and they judge you, and they put you then on a short list of maybe 5 or 6 companies. And then it goes out to a public vote. So all the clinics in the UK, have the opportunity to vote for their supplier, and you don't have to put a comment in. You just click a button and say, yes, I'd like to vote for this person. But we got this spreadsheet after this award ceremony with, I'm not kidding, literally hundreds of lovely comments that people had put about our after sales service. This is one of them. I've been a Lynton, we don't know who they were because you know, we didn't, for data protection, we didn't get their names. So we just got this big spreadsheet with all these comments on from Chloe. But I've been a Lynton customer or clinic owner since 2003. They've always delivered a fantastic service. Their training facilities second to none, and their laser equipment and engineers are of the highest standard. This person has had a Lynton for 15 years. The machine provides unlimited possibilities. My patients consistent positive results. An excellent provider of laser and IPL, and supported by superb training. Like the most common theme in all of these comments was the training. So well done you if we've got any of our trainers listening, but we really do pride ourselves in delivering, you know, really high levels of education, because it's not just the device that you use, it's how you use that device and how to get the best out of it. So we do a free of charge clinical update training day every quarter. So once every 3 months, you can come to our premises, you can have a 3 days training. We keep the numbers quite small so that we can, you know, speak to you first and see what it is you'd like to cover within that particular day. And that's something which now, you know, potentially we could run virtually, so they would be able to, you know, save you driving up north perhaps for those. And this was our favourite comment because it just said these guys are just good humans, and I hope that kind of sums up Lynton really, that we are a British company, that we're a big company. We've always got time to answer the phone. We're always answering clinical questions all times of the day and night for people. And yeah, we like to think ourselves as a brilliant partner to support you in your aesthetic business and to grow with you. As you can see from the comments there, lots of people might start with an EXCELIGHT. Many of our customers start with an EXCELIGHT, and then over the years they think, oh, I'd like to add tattoo removal, I'd like to add this, I'd like to add that. So we can part exchange, we can upgrade, and people can really grow their business with us. We've got some customers that have got 4 or 5 different machines from us. So yeah, we like to think ourselves definitely as a long-term partner to work with you. So if anybody would like to go on from here and learn a little bit more and ask more detailed questions about the finances, you know, what the monthly payment plans look like, I mean, I've really touched the surface here. There's so much more marketing support that we do for you, so we can talk about that as well. But the next step would be to book a one-to-one Zoom meeting with us. So if anybody would like to do that, I'm just going to drop my email address into the chat here. And depending on where you are in the world, there'll be a business development consultant who can do a one-to-one Zoom with you. And I guess for us, it's a case of making sure that you've got the right product. The EXCELIGHT might not be the one for you. It might be the 3G, it might be the Lumina. So really understanding your business, what's going to be a comfortable level of investment for you, what's going to deliver great results for the sorts of clients that you're treating and where you want the business to grow to. So we'd love to hear from you. You can drop me an email and we can arrange any one-to-one Zooms. Yes, does the training come with the purchase of the machine? Yes, it does. So when you purchase a device directly from Lynton, then we provide you with a certain number of days training on site at your business. So if it was the EXCELIGHT, then that would be 2 days training. But then we've got lots of recorded webinar type information up online as well that you'd have access to. So you'd be able to go in and go kind of deeper into things that way. We do hair removal masterclasses, we do tattoo removal masterclasses that you can go on to do in addition. But yeah, the training that you would need to operate the device, that comes free of charge. Suzanne's just asked about SHR. Yeah, so no, the EXCELIGHT doesn't have SHR technology in. We do understand that might seem like an advantage, but when you drop the fluence and increase the rep rate of an IPL system, then you do have a big compromise on results. So we've run clinical trials with this before and just not happy with the level of result that you can achieve. And when the discomfort is only a 6 out of 10, it's not something that we're looking at the moment. So all about the results, all about the clinical efficacy. And I guess that really comes back to the idea that if you want to get repeat bookings and you want people to recommend you, results are king, really, aren't they? I always say to people in this industry, there's only 2 real things that you need. You need results and good service. If you are kind and lovely and respectful and welcoming and brilliant with your clients, if you partner that with a device that gives you knockout results, you can't fail. You know, you absolutely can't fail. You spend a lot less on marketing trying to get people through the door, because every brilliant, fantastic result that you give means that you've got a little ambassador for your business there, and they go out and they recommend you and they make the referrals, and they're so much easier to cross-sell your other treatments too. So yeah, we would highly recommend, if you haven't seen the EXCELIGHT in action, when things perhaps get a bit more back to normal, you can have a live on-site demo as well. That's something we'll be able to do, so you can see the results for yourselves before you make your decisions. Okay, yes, this webinar will be available to watch later, so everyone who's registered, I'll send you a link so you can watch this back. And thank you ever so much for watching this afternoon. I hope you all go on to have a lovely day, and look forward to seeing you all soon, hopefully on our webinars later this week. If you do have any last questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I can hang around for a couple of minutes. Hopefully that was useful for you. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Fabulous. Good. No more questions. Oh, my contact details. Let me put that in here for you. There we go. Okay, Charlotte, I don't know why you can't see them, but don't worry, I will email you so you've got all my details. Okay. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you all soon. Don't worry, I will make sure you all get my email address so you can contact me. I've got all of your emails from when you registered, so I can send them to you. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you later.